Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon. We're going to call the Lackawanna County Prison Board meeting to order. It's about 12:36. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Dominic if she'd lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first order of business is to approve the minutes of the last prison board meeting. And I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only.
Trace, anything?
We received 2 items today, but I think this one might pertain to agenda items. It's from Terrell Mosley. He is the Community Outreach Legal Staff, Lewisburg Prison Project in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Says, hello, I hope this reaches you in the best of spirits and health. I received a response from the warden in regards to the data collected on the MAT program at your facility. He said that he would include this in his monthly report. If that could happen, it would be greatly appreciated. We are using this data from Pennsylvania prisons to try to track and combat the opioid crisis in Pennsylvania.
Warden, do you want to address that? I think we got to address that. I think that's an agenda item.
Sure, no problem at all. At this point in time, we haven't implemented our MAT program. The reason for that is our new medical provider had to implement an electronic health record system. They had to get that up fully running and functioning and working the bugs out, and we're at the tail end of that now. Our plan, our goal is to start this process in July with the MAT program.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about that?
No.
Nobody?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you, Warden. Okay, let's move on to our first motion, 21-2034, a motion to approve all current payables for the Community Correction Center and the prison. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay. Okay, Mr. DeBillio, the Controller's Report, 21-2035.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Controller's report for the prison inmate and canteen accounts, May of 2021. The Controller's Office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the Prison Business Office for the month of May 2021, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $619,001.29 as of May 31st of 2021. The balance in the canteen checking account was $603,934.38 as of May 31st. And in addition, as of May 31st, the canteen account owned 2 certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 and the other at $132,294.38, which totals $147,294.38. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Controller DeBillio. Any questions for the Controller? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept the Controller's report.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay. Okay, 21-2036, the Community Correction Center report. Mr. Jeffers, if you're out there.
Let me get him. Hold on.
Okay,
Oh, he's there, he's there.
He's there.
okay.
It was a little technical difficulty, that's all.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jeffers.
How are you, Sharon? How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. How is everybody on the board?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so the Community Corrections Report from May 2020, item 1, the program's totals: adult house arrest had 153 participants and juvenile house arrest had item number 2, programs revenue totaled $58,414.10. Item 3, our program's expenses were $77,282.65. Item 4, the program's completions were 37. Item 5, the program's violations were 6. Item 6, the program's warrants are 5 for work release, 4 for house arrest. And item 7, the budget report is for the year: overtime at 2%, expenses at 36%, and revenue at 49%. That is all I have, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffers. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Jeffers? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the Community Correction Center report.
Moved.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Sheriff, very quickly, if you don't mind, I'll just give the board an update on the vaccinations. As of today, the county is 66% fully vaccinated. We are at 76% of one shot, or at least one shot in them. That's from the 18-year-olds and above. Our total number is 127,093. We are having a clinic, a multi-cultural clinic at the cultural center on this Friday, 9 to 5. I ask all of you, if you want to, please stop by and lend a hand if you can, if you want. It's also a food giveaway. It's a walk-up clinic. And that it's from 9 to 5 at the Masonic at the cultural center. So anyone that wants to stop by can get a shot, get some food, and for all of you on the board here, if you want to stop by and help out, I'm sure Jessica Vulich can use the help and say thank you. Very quickly, we are expected to hit 70% fully vaccinated by the end of this month, probably around the 4th of July at the latest. What I'm recommending to the commissioners is that, this month will probably be the last month we will do a virtual meeting in the Board of Commissioners. I also would recommend to the board of the prison board, and it's totally up to you, but once we hit the 70 percentile for 18 years and above, the adults that would be coming to your meeting, obviously, we would take all the precautionary the precautions that we need to take care of people entering the buildings and stuff, so forth. But as far as meeting in public, that is up to you. We will hit the 70 percentile mark somewhere around the 4th of July. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffers. Job well done.
Thank you,
By
board.
everyone above. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Okay, 21-2037, the Warden's report. Warden Betty.
Good afternoon, board. How's everyone today? The in-house population, the average daily population for May was 635 inmates. We averaged 561 adult males, 4 juvenile males, and 71 adult females. The average daily population of U.S. Marshals Service detainees for May was 176. The overtime and out-of-county boarding reports are attached. Our staffing update, a little bit different numbers than what I had sent out because this is as of this morning. Our uniform staff on shift is 172 full-timers. We have 1 on workers' comp, nobody on continuous FMLA with 58 intermittent FMLAs. Administrative leave, 2, vacancies 5 for a total of 180 full-time officers. The budget as of May 31st, revenue was at 30%, expenses were at 44%. Extraordinary occurrence reports, there were 14 in the month of May. 5-1, a county inmate was covering his camera while on a behavioral watch. He then began to jump off his bed headfirst into his cell door. An order was then given to place him into the ERC. Also on 5-1, a newly committed county inmate began violently hitting his cell door, and efforts to de-escalate the inmate were ineffective. The inmate presented himself in a threatening manner, and he managed to dislodge the bolted down desk in the cell from the floor. The inmate would not comply with efforts to move him out of the cell, and OC spray was used to gain compliance. Officers then entered the cell, placed him in the ERC for his safety and for the safety of the staff. 5-14, a county inmate tied a string around his neck and crawled under his bed in an attempt to get away from responding officers. Officers used an e-bid during the cell extraction and followed due to the inmate's uncooperative behavior. Once officers obtained control of the inmate, they removed the string from around his neck and placed him in the ERC for his safety. 5-17, a county inmate admitted to suicidal ideations and was ordered into a camera cell. However, this inmate then began to bang his head off the door frame of his cell. As a result, staff placed him in the ERC for his safety. As the above was occurring, another county inmate began to act out and threaten suicide and started hitting his head off his cell's door. Staff responded by placing this inmate in an ERC as well. 5-20, a newly committed county inmate began speaking in garbled and incomplete sentences. She then began to exhibit harmful self-destructive behavior. A cell extraction and placement into the ERC was ordered. During the cell extraction process, staff had to deploy OC spray to obtain compliance from this inmate. Once she was placed in the ERC, one of the on-duty nurses decontaminated her. 5-20, 2 inmates were observed to be engaged in a fight, and the responding officer had to use OC spray to assist him in breaking up the altercation. 5-24, county inmate was observed tying something around her neck. Responding officers were met with resistance when they attempted to move her to a camera cell for observation, and as a result had to place her in the ERC for safety. 5-25, a county inmate was observed to have fresh scratch marks on her stomach. This inmate admitted to having contraband in her cell, which she used to inflict the scratches, and she began expressing suicidal ideations. Cell extraction was ordered and placement in the ERC while her cell was searched for the contraband. Upon completion of the search, she was moved into a camera cell. 5-25, a county inmate who was on a suicide prevention watch covered the camera in his cell and attempted to barricade himself in his cell. Staff spoke with the inmate psychiatrist, and he had authorized the use of 4-point humane restraints on this particular inmate. Staff used OC spray in an attempt to gain this inmate's compliance, removed him from his cell and into another cell where they placed him in 4-point humane restraints. One of the on-duty nurses checked on this inmate's status and provided decontamination procedures. 5-28, a county inmate was on a suicide prevention watch and covered his camera. He refused to remove the object, and staff had to conduct a cell extraction and ERC placement so that the camera could be cleared for viewing. 5-28, another inmate, county inmate, also on suicide watch, then covered his camera and barricaded his cell door in an attempt to prevent staff entry into the cell. Responding staff had to deploy OC spray to be able to safely enter the cell, extract him from the cell, and place him in the ERC. We're almost done. 5-28, a county inmate who was already in the ERC had managed to manipulate the shoulder strap of the ERC, and he was attempted to strangle himself with that shoulder strap. Staff then entered the cell and, with the authorization of the psychiatrist, placed the inmate in 4-point humane restraints. And on 5-30, a female county inmate who was on a suicide prevention watch covered her camera, and staff had to conduct a cell extraction and placement into the ERC for her as well. PREA, there were 6 PREA investigations completed in the month of May. One was an inmate sexual harassment allegation, and it was deemed unsubstantiated. 2 were inmate sexual misconduct allegations. One was unfounded and one was unsubstantiated. One was a staff on inmate sexual harassment allegation. It was deemed unfounded, and 2 were staff on inmate sexual misconduct allegations. Both of them were deemed unfounded. Oasis contract, the current contract with Oasis runs until February 4th of 2022. I bring this up because the county has several options, one of which is to put out an RFP. If this is the case, that the county decides to put out an RFP for commissary services, a decision will have to be made by July of this year because the RFP process is a long-term event. And before I conclude my report, I just wanted to give a quick vaccination update to everyone. At this point in time, we're doing another round of vaccinations right now, and I project that by the end of today, we'll be at 250 of our 650 inmates that have received at least 1 dose of the Moderna vaccine. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Warden. Does anybody have any questions for the warden?
Yes, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just a quick question for the warden. The ERC chair, the emergency restraint chair, is commonly used as we hear about those reports. I just wanted to ask the warden, is it effective? Is it safe? And how long would an inmate normally stay in the emergency restraint chair before they, get released from it?
Right. Well, I guess the first thing is it is very effective in most cases. It's not foolproof. People are able to, on occasion, manipulate themselves out of the restraints that are there. It's a chair that you sit in that kind of ties down your wrists and your ankles so that you can't harm yourself. When we place people into that, it's always a step after attempting to. A previous step would be a camera cell with a suicide precaution watch. But if the person continues to act out in a manner that they're going to hurt themselves or somebody else, we put them into the ERC. We constantly monitor those individuals, and when they calm down and they're ready, every 2 hours we give them the opportunity to, free up their hands and their legs and stretch out a little bit. And at that point in time, we check on them to see how they're feeling. And if things are safe enough at that point in time, we'll let the person out after 2 hours. Frequently it's 4 hours or so before the person's coming out of that chair and back into a camera cell. But it is a very effective tool. If you notice, almost everybody that gets placed in the ERC is first on a suicide watch, and almost everybody who ever gets placed into 4-point humane restraints, that's on the orders of a psychiatrist. They are first put into the ERC because it's less restrictive than 4-point humane restraint on someone. So we try to conduct the least invasive measures first. But again, our primary goal is to ensure that that person is safe and that our own staff are safe. And of course, the other inmates are safe.
Thanks, Warden.
You're welcome.
And Warden, being familiar with that myself, that'd be on a case-by-case basis, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
And one thing we never do is, we only use that ERC, just like the 4-point restraints. We never use it punitively. It's not meant for that at all. It's meant to help us to keep someone safe.
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else for Warden and Betty? Okay, before I entertain a motion, to accept his report. Tracy, regarding the Oasis contract, we could put that on the agenda for next month's meeting, correct?
What do you mean? What are you looking to
Well,
do?
they're saying here a decision will have to be made by July of this year because the process is so on. So could you put that on the agenda for the next meeting, for the next board meeting? I believe we have to make a recommendation to approve that. Would I be correct in
To
saying that?
approve Oasis or to put it out for an RFP?
Put it out for an RFP,
Okay,
if in fact that's what we're gonna do.
okay.
Because this is time sensitive, correct, Warden? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct, but the other options are, it's already built in our contract, the option for a 1-year extension, 2 1-year extensions, actually. It's just something for, I'm guessing, for the prison board to recommend to the Board of Commissioners what path you want to take.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the warden's report.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Warden.
You're welcome.
Okay, the last item I see here is under new business regarding the Summerall Group. Before I entertain a motion to approve the proposal and to review, does anybody have any questions about this or concerns that you want to address?
Nope.
None?
Warden, would you feel that that's an effective contract?
It was the last time around, and I anticipate that it would be this time around too. I was here when they came through in, I don't know if it was 2016 or 2017. I think it was 2017 when things got finalized, and it was a very productive contract for us.
And I had an opportunity to talk to Judge Gibbons about it when that draft was circulated last week. I think Mr. DeBilio gave an analysis of the outcomes of the current contract, and we felt that the Summerhill Group had a very good grasp on the metrics and the way they're utilized by the federal government, and that it had been substantially beneficial the last time around, and it appeared that it would be so this time as well.
I looked at it too from the commissioner's perspectives. I mean, it's primarily performance-based, so that's the best part about it. So, I mean, you don't know the second portion of the gentleman's fee until we get an executed contract. And I think the first portion as well, Dave, right, until he secures the new rate.
So I think 22.
Yes,
22,000 initial payments, and then the performance-based balance.
Right. So from that perspective, the agreement's fine.
Anybody else have any comments or questions about this? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to review and approve the proposal submitted by the Summerhill Group LLC for preparing and submitting an application to the U.S. Marshal Service and then negotiating a new per diem rate for intergovernmental service agreement.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay. Is there any members other business? Tracy, you said you had one more email there?
Yes, we do. Miss Bev DeBarro stopped up at the commissioner's office today, and she dropped off a photo with a note attached to it. And I'll show you the photo in 1 second, but she said that this photo shows my car loaded with trade manuals from the Career Technology Center for the inmates at the prison. I am requesting help to process these books for distribution to our friends inside with her name and telephone number. So this is the back of her car with books. And I sent that to the warden and his deputy, and they've already begun the process on that.
Has that been going pretty good, that program, Warden?
It sputtered over the last year because of COVID precautions. But like right now, all I would say is I would caution not just Bev, but anybody that there are security procedures that we have to implement. We can't just accept books and have them come right in. We have to go through them, make sure they haven't been tampered with, that no contraband has been hidden in them. Not that Bev would do that. We just don't know where they're initially coming from. So we're going to check no matter what, even if they're coming from you. We're going to always check them. That's what we do.
Is there anything else, Tracy?
No, that is all.
That's all? Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Oh, I'll second.
Second.
All
I'm
right.
starting to wonder what happens if that goes without a second.
I wanted that too. All in favor?
Aye.